Good afternoon, everybody. Hope we're all okay. It doesn't seem like 2 minutes since I was last doing this. The week's gone so quick. And here we are back again at Friday. And of course, next week it's August. What has happened? But, I'm going to sort of chill us out a little bit today. I'm going to use my basic shape stencil just for a little while. If you've not got one, don't worry about it. We're going to just use it as a guide. You can do it freehand, it's fine. And I've got my regular pen pencil tortillon, and I've also got my white pencil as well. So let's make a start. 363 today. I thought it was 362, but I've changed it to 3 because we did 2, haven't they? And I've got the pearl grey tile here. It's nice using these because you've got that little bit of a fleck in it. So it's almost, you've already started to do something. It's just got that lovely background. But please use any tile you like, it's absolutely fine. And we can make a start, shall we? So I'm going to come in first of all with my pencil. And as I say, my basics. I'm going to use the circle shape here, not the outer one, just the inner one to get me going. So I'm not even going to worry. If it's in the middle, fine. If not, not to worry, it doesn't matter at all. And I'm going to mark it in, like so. Okay, just going to put that out of the way. We don't need it now. Because what we are going to do is come in pencil, and I want to put a couple more lines inside. So how would you do that if you don't have it? Here we go. So looking at this, I'm looking at the blank space there, you see? So I'm going to sort of put a line there. And then all the way around, it's almost like looking at what I've got here and putting that little line in. And all the way around, then you're getting this little sort of a dotty kind of line. You see, I'm moving the tile rather than moving my hand. It's going to give me this, sort of space. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just giving me an idea. Okay, so we've got something there that's akin to maybe having a smaller shape. There you go. All right, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to have one there, so sort of similar in size, and because it's a little bit smaller now, maybe you could sketch it in, maybe not, don't know. There we go, got some sort of idea there. There we are. Okay, if it's not exactly, please don't worry about it. It's just going to look a little bit different. Well, everybody's is anyway. So there we go, job done. And of course, sticking with pencil, what I want to do is I split my space up. I'm not going to worry about the middle bit, just sort of the outer two. First top and bottom, and then top and bottom. And then here, I'm going to come in and split that into 3 sections. And 3 sections. Or maybe that one's a bit, okay. That one was a bit skinny there. There you go. And turn it around again, 3 sections. So I could have actually, used these lines, but whatever you're comfortable with. And again, 3 sections. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a target kind of thing there. So, are we ready for this? I'm going to come in with a pen now. First things first, let's just move it in a bit. Oh, Vicky, sorry. I do try and keep things reasonably priced, but only ever buy what you can afford. Don't put yourselves in any stress or high risk situations where you can't afford to eat for the week. For the sake of buying something, please don't. But thank you everybody that did. It was a lovely show, wasn't it? A lovely double hour, not double, 2 hours. Okay, so coming in with my pen. I think what I'm going to do is going to take my watch off because sometimes it sort of drags on the board and it makes a noise. I don't want to do that. I'm going to scratch my watch. Are you ready then? Okay. So first things first, what I want to do, it doesn't matter which way around you're going to do this, is I'm going to put in a curve from one side going diagonally across to the other. Okay. And then let's bring this one around and create a little bit of a loop there. It's not unusual, we've done that for. And then as I'm bringing it round here, I want to come out and create a little bit of a wider shape there. You see? Now along here, it's going to get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner, but I'm going to also put that loop, if you can, on that side. Okay, there you go. So that's our first bit. We've sort of in effect split off the shape underneath there, and I am going to remove ever so lightly. You don't have to, it's just so you can see those bits in there, because I don't really want to do them. All right, I'm moving up then. Oh, Charlotte beans on toast. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I can't eat the bread for a start. Okay, I'm going to do a little aura inside my shape there. And see as it sort of works its way up and it follows whatever's in there. I'm bringing it down here. So I've got that. Okay. Oh, Glenys, do you know what? I've opened it and put the battery in. I haven't used it yet. But I will actually, if anybody wonders what we're talking about, it's an eraser, a battery operated eraser. Glenys, I'll have a go at it this weekend and I will feed back and let you know and see what I think of it. But no, I know what you mean. You're sometimes using products when you're a left-handed person. Certainly some pens, you find that if they unscrew as you're drawing with them or writing with them. I found that on a few. But I'll check it out, Glenys, and I'll let you know. All right. You see, got those little bubbles in there, and you see that there. Oh, I know. Do you know what? Look at that. I tend to get an eraser and I actually cut bits off because I find that then I've got sharp edges and things like that I can get into little bits. And I did buy that eraser because I thought that would be a lot better to do and use. But it's in my kit. The kit it's in is at home, and of course I'm in the office, so I leave basic equipment here. The idea actually is that all my paper crafting is coming to the office and my sewing is at home, so I can sort of split the two, because at the moment everything is everywhere. So we've still got a lot to do, but the house looks just as bad, honestly. There you go. All right. Oh, hello there, Laurie. First time joining, goodness me. Where have you been? Anyway, don't you worry, there's nothing to panic about. We've not really got too far, but you can watch back. We've done a bit of a curve in here, look. See, I've got my little bubbles there. I'm going to do an aura inside those bubbles as well. See one there? And you see, automatically I'm sort of putting little dots in there, just sort of finishes that edge off. Just a couple there. There we go. Okay. So let's turn our attention. See, I've just seen a bit there, it needs curving. To the shape that we've done here then. Okay, I'm going to go in a little bit bigger there. And I've got 2 rows. So my first row, I'm going to keep it pretty straightforward. And I'm going to put a curve that way. And a curve that way. Okay. Oh, hello, Leslie. Leslie's out and about today. She's not in the office. So see, what I tend to do is I do all the same curves going one way first. Now here, if you think, oh no, it's a bit scary because I've got this in the way, draw it in with pencil first, and then you could come back in with pen and just draw the bit that you need. But if you're confident enough, you can go on in and you can draw each of those lines. But again, if you want to draw each shape separately, please go ahead and do that as well. That's fine. See, there I'm not even going to see a bit there. Oh, that's a good point. And then again, like this way. So I'm going to join them all. But notice I'm using my tile and leaving my hand where it sort of is, because I'm getting then those curves are a little, they're never going to be exactly the same, but they're similar. Okay, so that creates that little bit there. And I'm going to put a little dot on the edges of each one of those, just like that. Okay, one there, so you make part of one there. John, I think this is the newest colour we've had, yes. This is the pearl grey. It's the same material, the same cardstock as the Elite set. Excuse me, and you know that the quartz in that has got this same fleck in it. But this is lovely. So this is the pearl grey. We know that with greys, you get a really nice sort of finish, certainly if you're using coloured pencils. So that's, yeah, it's nice to have. Okay, so let's have a look there. You see I've got now a space here and I've got a line there. So I'm going to join to there. And then this side, I'm going to join to there. Okay, so again, entirely up to you. I'm going to come around first and put in that first curve. But as I say, if you would rather draw in all the bits and pieces, you know, as you're going, so if you want to do that, it's fine, as long as we get something similar when we work our way all the way around. See? So that one, look, is going to go there. But everybody's got their own way of doing this. So it's just kind of nice to do it your way, isn't it? Okay. So then I come back and do it that way. And I just find that my curves are a little bit better, or hopefully a little bit better doing it that way. Okay. So let's have a little look. We've got that kind of thing going on. So far, so good. So let's look at the outer shapes here. So from the middle, and now usually see we've got that pencil line. It's normally where we sort of stop, but today I want to take my loop a little bit further out. You see? Now again, if you are happier with a construction line, you want to put a little mark just a little bit further out, then you can do that, you see, and then you can draw that loop in. But if you think, do you know what, I'm just going to go for it, brilliant. Let's put them in. See, I'm just going over a little bit, extending it a little bit as I go round. Over we go. And again. You see, once you get into the mode, you sort of tend to get a similar shape going anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. There we go. Then either side, I'm going to put a line. Now see, this time I am going to sort of use the edge of that circle. So I'll do all this side first. Just as a guide. If you go a bit over, it doesn't matter. Or you could bring it in this way if you're more comfortable. Whatever works. We just want to put that line in. And then this way. You're polishing, Leslie. You're not polishing. Oh, I'm not saying that. How is Dobby anyway? Is he okay? We gave him a bit of a bath last night. It didn't go down well, I've got to say. So I left Leslie with him last night. Okay, there we go. So dot wise, I'm going to put a dot on the end and then a smaller and smaller one. So a dot, smaller and smaller. That's going. Oh, is he fine? I think that probably after the gin that helped a bit, didn't it? So yeah, he had to go into Leslie's husband's bar. We got him a gin and he calmed down a bit. He was very wet though. He got into all the bathroom, didn't he? He got into all the bloody... I don't know. It was a nightmare. But we did it. Okay, to this one. So I'm going to go all the way around with these. Oh, see, that's why he's fine. He's soaking wet, but he's soaking wet with gin. Okay, oh, there you go. Not forgetting that one. Thank you, Janet. Of course, if you can't find the space for all of the 3 dots, then you can come in and just put 2 in. It's fine. There you go. Let's have a look at that. Vicky, it was mayhem. Mayhem. There we go. All right, so far so good. We've got that going. So I want to come in now and work on these. So again, if you would rather do your curve the opposite way, being left or right-handed, whatever works for you, I'm going to come in and put my curve in this way. But if you want to do it that way, you absolutely can. But once you've chosen a side, then I want you to keep it so it's the same all the way around. And this is where it starts to change up these shapes. We love drawing this kind of design, but sometimes it's great just filling those bits in, but now and again you want to try something a little bit different and throw people off. Oh, where did you draw that? How did it work? Okay, so that's the first bit. I think at this point I'm going to remove those pencil lines because I don't want them in the way anymore. I want to focus on the shape rather than the pencil marks. There you go. All right. As at this point you find that you've missed half the lines. Okay, coming up there. All right. So looking at this shape here, I'm going to come and create a loop. So it's going to come up and down, but then it's going to go back up and back and round. You see? So if you want to start here and go that way, you can do that. So follow that line round, see, and then there's my first loop. And it comes back and back and back, like that. And then let's fill in those little gaps around the edge. So that's the next one. And here you can see that it would normally start down here. So again, if you want to draw this bit in pencil, just so you get to grips with it. But I'm good with that, so I'm going to do this. Now I think sometimes we panic a bit when it comes to this tangle. And the only reason is, I think, sometimes you think it's got to match in the middle every time, and it doesn't. You notice it's not matching on that same line. It follows the shape that's there. So don't try and give it some sort of structure. It's going to do its own thing. The idea is it's sort of a back and forth, filling that shape in. And it's a real good filler, this one is. And again, and you know what, actually, I don't know if you think the same, Kathy. Once you're drawing this, it's one of those sort of, it'll run away with you if you're not careful. It's a really nice one to do, and it's a real, like, satisfying curve. Never ends. It's lovely. All right. So, there you are. Just sort of works its way around, meanders around that shape there. And then again, up and around. And see again, I'm going to pretend it goes in there a little bit. And down we go. And then up this one here, look, and again it's sort of working its way around. So it's imagining where it's going to be if that shape wasn't in the way. But again, that shape is what gives it a little bit of interest. It changes things up a bit. There you go. I mean, it might also be quite nice to think about taking this kind of mandala style and splitting it. so it's not a full shape, you're just using a part of it. That actually, it looks quite nice. Okay. And then back in. And around we go. And filling in the gaps. And along. And around. Okay, let's have a look at that. You see, it's giving it a little bit of a difference now because this is split up slightly because we've got something different going on here. So where we've got these little curves and dots, I'm going to come and bring in a curve and a dot there. So wherever you can sort of see them, along we go. And dot in there. Along and a dot. Along and a dot. So again, it's sort of throwing you off. What shape did we start with? And how does that work out? Well, doing it systematically means that you can continue doing the individual steps. See, so it looks like it's got a bit more movement to it. All right. At this point, before I go any further, I'm going to just thicken up this. And again, you bring your 05 in for this. Just going to put a little bit more thickness there. There we go. And just a little bit round there. And that bit there. Okay. Gives me a bit of a starting point. So I want to come on to the inside bit now. And again, you could do this either way. So I'm going to sort of put a line in from here, like so. And again, doing that all around. So from the top, coming down a bit, putting a line that goes to that dot in that bottom side there. But again, you can do this the other way. You can do it from right to left if you would prefer to do that. Oh, sorry, sort of spinning off the camera then. All right. And then bubbles. Start at the top, work your way down. Now, because it's quite small, you probably won't have to fill any gaps in anyway. And see, I'm going around a couple of times. I think that helps with creating a slightly rounder bubble and redefines the shape. So it's something nice to have a look at. It's not that there's anything wrong that I've got to go over it twice. It just rounds it off a little bit more for me. Okay. So they're quite small, so they don't need any extra little bits and pieces in there. Into this one. And same all the way around. And of course, you don't have to keep up with me. If you feel that you want to slow down a bit, you can always do a little sketch and then finish it later. I'll come back to it. Let's have a little look at that. There you go. See, it's just sort of starting to throw you off with different shapes now, and that's what we want. So, okay, looking at these gaps now. And again, because I've gone this way, I'm now going to come in this way. So I want to do 1, 2 loops. You see, I've started one in the middle and I've done one on that edge. So 1 in the middle, 1 on the edge, the middle on the edge. So if you've done it the other way, you'll do exactly the same thing. You'll just go in a different way around than I am. So you're just going to get a little bit of that one. So into the middle, into the edge. Same again. All the way around. Okay, so again, you're going to get bits of that one. So you've got that. What I am going to do is between the 2 loops, I'm going to fill it with ink We just need a little bit of drama, just to shake it up a bit. Take away the flatness until we shade it anyway. I want to put that in first. And see the difference that's making? I always put something in there. There we go. And along this one. Okay. So, all right. So, coming in then. What I want to do now, it's nice, isn't it? I want to put a border in. So, let's bring my stencil in. Now, usually I'll use both edges, and I can do that, but this has got a slight radius, so I'm not going to go too close up to the edge there, but I am going to use the radius. Let's see. Do the same on this side. That's why I've left a little bit more space, look, because come round, put the radius in. Same with that, just sort of lining it up. There we go. Go along there again. And again. Oh, Louise, it would, wouldn't it? It would be really nice. And you could continue this kind of way of putting these little curves in, you know, and switching the sides as you go up, making a larger one. And of course, if you've got the, which a load of you have, I know, if you've got the circle frame, you could use that frame to actually give you your points and give you your space. So there we go. All right, so that's that bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start the top edge. It doesn't matter where, in a sense. I'm going to put a line in. It's going to stop there. It's going to follow through. It's going to go through the middle and then back out. But you notice I'm going to put a dot there. I'm not going through those lines. I'm going to do another. Let's take it this way. See, that's okay. It's not touching any of that. Let's put one in here. So again, I'm not going to go through any of those dots. I'm going to go underneath and out there. And see one there. So anything that's going through, see, it's going through. But anything else, we're going to put some sort of little lines in. You see how they go underneath? We don't have to put loads in. It's nice to have a little selection at least. Let's put one in there, look. Take one. Go in there, under there. Through and out there. So we've got a little bit of a design around the edge. Okay. So next bit then. I'm going to take each section and let's do this one first because it's a solid. Let's go a bit bigger. 1 second. There you go. I'm going to come in and fill in that shape there. You see, going around, and each time I get to the corner, you see I've rounded the corner off. Round the corners off, like so. So following it round, it doesn't have to be exactly on the line. And create your little shapes. Now I'm not going to do anything here. I'm hopefully trying to create a bit of a frame around the shape that we've done in the middle. I don't want it to completely take away from the shape. We want a little bit of interest. Okay. Next one. Along and in. So here I'm not going to do anything because there's not really any of these lines already there. There's a bit of one there, but I don't want it to go into that shape. So you make your decision there. I don't want to completely cover it. So we can always look around, and if we think that we need one, you can go back in and add it in a bit. So we'll see. Okay. So then here, look, I'm not going to put anything but this corner. I know. So I'm going around my shape and following it, still drawing the line in, and I'm going to do this one as well. There you go. So let's have a little look at that. So perhaps you see here where we've got this one, I'm going to bring in maybe a line there, look, and then I can continue that sort of design it a little bit further in there. And I think I don't want it to be symmetrical, and it's nice to have some little spaces there. See, I have got a line there, so perhaps just doing a little sort of curvature there just to make that fit in, okay? So centre bit as well, we've got these lines. I am going to come in and I'm going to go around these, and I'm going to sort of stop at that shape, so it's not going to look like it's going underneath. It's sort of going to follow the lines around. Whatever section you've got there is going to fill in. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring my pencil in, my 2B. And of course, if you want to use colour, it'd be quite nice. I think I'm going to use a bit of colour in this bit here. But then everything else I'm going to go monochrome. But you can use this if you want to as a gem, or maybe a contrast colour to this. But let's see where we go. All right. So in these sections here, I'm going to do a little bit of shade. It's like a letter L in each one of those little bits. There you go. So this side, I'm not going to do the same. I'm going to keep them going the same way. So I'm not going to see much there. Okay. Okay, let's come in this section here. So a little bit, let's go a bit bigger again. Just a little bit on those loops, just at the bottom edge. I'm going to work my way around. I'm just doing those. You're not going to get any on those because I'm putting it at the bottom and not any at the top. Okay. And then bubbles here, really small. I'll probably get a white highlight on there, so I'm not going to put any pencil in. And then this bit here, I'm going to go around that shape. Like that. So again, following that round. It's like following that original sort of line, isn't it, that we had. Okay. I'm not pressing on particularly, I'm not putting loads on, but enough to cover. There we go, a bit there, look. Good job done with that. And then these loops, I'm going to come in and do a top and a bottom. All the way along. And top and a bottom. Just gives it a little bit of shape in there. Alright. And then, as I said, this piece, I'm not really I might add a little bit of pencil over there, see? But I'm going to colour that, so I don't want to do anything else with that particularly. And then, remembering my little owl shapes, I'm going to do a similar sort of thing on these. Just on the ones that I've actually created a shape for. Don't worry too much about trying to keep these going in the same direction. You can mix these up a little bit because they're going all the way around anyway. So. Okay, let's have a little look at that. So before I bring my torchon in, I'm going to bring in my chalk pencil. And you see where we did these little loops? I'm going to add in my white in the middle of those loops. Just want to make sure that I'm going to get enough in there. Okay. And then where I said I was going to do highlights, you see, just sort of filling those bubbles in. Just a little line. But of course you could come in with your gel pens or any other colour pen and actually put little coloured things in there if you want to. I'm going to sort of stick with the white for this one. Okay. So, tortillon, here we go. First things first, let's start in the middle and work our way outwards. So I'm going to soften off this little bit here, these little owl shapes. And again, I don't want to fill the whole thing, I want to soften it out. We can come in and put a little bit of white in there afterwards if we need to. And then this little bit here, loops. Now I'm not going to go around and do all the loops, I'm going to do the ones that are here. And whilst I've got my tortillon in this particular position that's comfy, I'm going to soften those off there as well. And those ones. So I might as well actually do those at the same time. Just giving them a little bit of a nudge there. And in with those. Just turn it round. And just keep it comfortable. You don't want to overdo it and try and sort of blend something where you're uncomfortable. And make sure that it feels right for you. See, those loops don't really take much at all. Okay. See how it just sort of softens out there. And if you want to, you could always go back in and add some more if you want it a little bit darker. Entirely up to you. There you go. It's quite a quick process, I think, this. So you take as long as you want to do on it. You can sort of almost, hold back a little bit and do a little bit at a time. And see what the end result's going to come back like. Let's put that one in there. See, soften them round. Same at the top. And then, of course, soften off those sort of shapes around the edge. And again, like just using a little bit. It doesn't cover the whole thing. There you go. There we are. All right. So, a bit more white. And you see where we've got these shapes? I'm going to add a little bit on those loops. Making my way around. See, just those on the top bit, because the others are sort of in darkness at the bottom there. So, just going to add a little bit there. And sort of work my way around. Just brings it to life a little bit there, I think. It just really makes a difference. I'm not really going to blend it. I'm just going to sort of touch it around if it needs it. There you go. Doesn't need much. Alright, so look at that. Okay, so coloured pencils. Let's bring those in. There we go. I think the first one I'm going to do is bring in my black. There we go. And what I want to do, see where we've got this bit here? Let's go in a little bit more. And just going to add a touch of darkness in there. It's sort of redefines that area a little bit. I'm not trying to press on and I'm not trying to blend it too much. Just want a little bit in those corners there. Okay. And that just sort of lifts that a little bit. I think there I can shade a bit more. I missed that one there. It just sort of deepens that shading there. Okay. So it makes quite a difference, that. So then, colour-wise, I'm going to go in with, let's have a look. I'll use my orange, I think. Might even just sharpen it, actually. A second. Here we go. So what have I got? Clementine. We do love this colour. Let's put a little bit of that in. So you see again, if you want to do this on the other side, being right-handed, you can do that. It's just, this is sort of a natural way of applying some colour for me, so in we go with it. See, I could actually bring a little bit of colour into those two. I've already got like a bit of highlight in there with that chalk, but I can bring a little bit in. I'm not going to try and colour them. They're really small, so I'm just going to add a little bit of a piece in there. Okay, so that's that one. So let's bring in after that one. We've got our mid-orange. I've also got light orange, so I might actually just try it with the light orange first and add a bit of that in and work them together. You see, it's just sort of, I'm not trying to completely fill the whole thing, I'm just adding little bits in. Oh, I know it's sharpened really well, hasn't it? Look at that. Let's bring the white in. Oh, and there. Let's put a little bit in to blend it. And you notice as well, I've left a little bit around the edge. I tend to do that a lot because I like to bring in a darker colour afterwards. And that will sort of take it in there. Okay. So, my yellow bits. So I'm going to bring a bit of the red in. Oh, honestly, Rose, please never get nervous about sharpening a pencil. They're there to be used. They really are. If they sit there and they stay long and they're never used, it's kind of sad. You know, they're here for a purpose, aren't they? You know, and you get the most out of them. And fun enough, they will work all the way down to the bottom. So even if it gets really small, it doesn't matter. Oh, thanks, Tommy.
It's okay.
There we go. I'm just bringing that colour back in. See, and let's bring in orange again. I mean, I know sometimes it's nice to have a set of pencils and they all look all the same length, but it just goes to, you know, you need to use them. All right, so I've got my colours in. A touch of that in there. If you go over the highlight, you can always go back in with a white gel pen. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring in a dark green. Now, if you look at your colour wheel, if you want a shadow for a red, it's more often than not a green. Okay, which one is this? There we go, deep green. So all I'm going to do is add a little bit of it around that edge, just on those bigger ones. Now, usually a purple or a dark blue works really well. But I think on this occasion, because I've got some reds in there, I'm going to use that colour as well. And then let's bring that white back in. And just bring that in place again. There you go. Okay, have a little look at that. Okay, I think it does need just a tad more pencil shading. I'm going to bring it in along this edge here. Okay, a bit in there, look. A bit round there. Let's get that shaded in place. Okay. You see, it's sort of working. I'm going to put a bit in there as well. And then around there. Again, because I've gone in quite strong there, it's going to sort of stay, and we want that We don't want it completely to blend to nothing. It's got to be a bit of a shadow going on there. Yeah, and that looks, see now, like it's inside. And you know what, you can look around the outside, you think, do I really want to? I'm going to go around that outer edge. Not too much on this occasion. Some little bits there. And then blend that out. And out. Which is quite a nice piece. It would make a nice, I'd say a larger one, maybe on a macro, wouldn't it? Maybe bringing in a gold gel pen, adding a bit to it on the dots. All right, back in with my white chalk. Now the difference, because here, look, I've got a white regular and a white chalk. This one's brilliant for blending your colours in for your regular pencils. But if I was to use this to actually create the highlight, I would have to blend it in. Whereas with this one, we can use the tortillon to blend it in. So you're getting a slightly different effect. All right, so if you're wondering why I'm using both of them, that's why. See this, look, you couldn't do that with your regular pencil and then, I know I've got a dot, and then soften it out. It wouldn't work. Okay, that'll only happen with your chalk pencil. So looking at some of these areas, you know, on our little shapes around the edge, you could put some pencil in. Again, if you can find any little bits that you think would benefit from a little bit of a highlight, you can put that in. See? And sometimes you don't even need to blend it. Sometimes it just sort of works fine without. But on this occasion, I'm going to just soften it off a bit. Because our main focus, as we say, is around here. There we are. So last thing to do is I want to make this bit a bit more prominent. So I'm going to come back in. Actually, I'm going to come in with that dark green. Where did I put that? Dark green, rather than the black. Here we go. And create a little bit of an edge. See? So just a little bit of it. I'm not going to try and blend it or anything. It's just almost sort of in those corners. So that there would benefit from a bit of softening. It just sort of frames that in a bit. Let's see, let's come down a little bit with a few of those. You see, because I'm actually working it around that shading. I'm not going to touch around the white. It sort of feels like it's already been shaded. So let's bring in a light, slightly lighter green. So I've got my grass green here. Again, just very gently bring a bit of it in. As I say, you could actually go all the way and you could call this as a gem, but I'm going to keep it with that kind of shape underneath there. There we go. And I will come back in with a little bit of black. You see just where I've put that shade, that shadow, just on that edge there. If you're going to use for shade against blue, then you'd want to use orange. That sounds crazy. Let me just do a quick demo. So here's my blue that I've been colouring in. Okay, let's just bring a bit of paler blue in. And then I've got my darker blue. Actually, that's my purple, darker blue. You see, I imagine I've got like my colours in there. So then, to add a bit of shade, if you use orange, yeah, darker blue. You see how it's giving it that little bit of more darkness, so the shadows would work well with that one. Purple would work just as well, but if you want a true sort of that would be fine, yeah. Oh, Letitia, I think Leslie tried the ink pads on the folders. She said the stays on worked fine, so I don't know if Leslie's still on here. She did actually use it and it did ink, so she actually inked a little elf in her folder. So I'm sure if she's still on here, if she posts that picture, that would be really helpful. But yeah, it did work. But have a look for Leslie Elf. Okay. Yeah, well, it was a stays on, it wasn't a regular. But if you ask her the exact one that she used. So I've just used a little bit of black inside there. And then, because it's very fine, fader. I think the Sharpie's faded too. I think it eases off a little bit, I think, but it doesn't remove itself. You get a bit of white. So a little bit of white there as well. There you go. Okay. So let's have a look then. Signature. Don't matter where we put it actually. I think I'm going to have it that way. There you go. Put my name on. There we go. So okay. There we go, tile for the day. Another one done and sorted. It'd be interesting actually to see how this looks on different coloured tiles. So maybe, I don't know, maybe the olive green and then use like reds and pinks on the centre bit. But there's quite a few bits you can do with it. So have fun with it. Have a lovely weekend. If you're around on Sunday, I'm not doing the Sanntangle this week. It's all about giving you time now because we did all the flowers. And it's giving you time to actually get it put together. I'm just finishing colouring off my flowers on my quilt and then I'll be putting the backing on it. So I will post a picture as soon as it's done. But other than that, have a lovely weekend, everybody. And Tuesday, I'm at Hobby Maker. So I'll have a chat with Chris over the next few days and we'll sort out when our next tile's going to happen, whether it be Monday, whether it be Wednesday. We'll have a think about it and let you know, okay? So, all right then, have fun with it and I'll see you soon. Okay, take care. Bye.